This video, I'm going to be breaking down the run and gun offensive playbook in Madden 25. If you guys want to check out my run and gun offensive ebook, it is going to be available in our school community. Members get access to all of our offensive and defensive ebooks throughout the year for both Madden and for college football. All the new ebooks, all the updates to old ebooks, everything is available by being a member. It's only $10 if you want to sign up. The link is down in the description. And I do believe that this playbook has a pretty decent under center. It has kind of some unique things under center. Their ace slot is actually really good. It's got some cool routes. It's got the bunch X nasty underneath with some motion plays and some verticals and short post. It also has iPro with basically every run that you pretty much need in general. And then it does have a weak close flex, but really the main couple formations here, you have pistol trips, which I would go ahead and set a couple audibles to because you can oftentimes get into this. I mean, I think the halfback counter out of this is pretty good. Verticals is kind of a trip side end staple. And then you can really have whatever you want underneath of this. If you want to have smash with that glitchy streak, you want to read option, you want to have strong power. I mean, just some nice options, honestly, in terms of what you might want to do out of this. So kind of a cool little play. Cool little series and sequence of plays out of there. You have pistol bunch tied in. This formation, we broke it down elsewhere on the channel, but this is a really good formation with a couple of really good runs. You have halfback counter, halfback zone, two really good runs. You have verticals. And then in this last slot here, kind of can do a couple different things. I personally really like the jet touch pass out of this too. So kind of some gimmicky stuff you can get into. The cool part about running gun is you can audible around quite a bit. There's just a lot of really good formations to be able to audible around too. You have gun doubles with kind of some cool routes, some short corners, some auto motion plays. PA zone read is kind of an old school play, but it actually is really good. And then you have this formation, doubles flex Y off close. This is why most people are in this playbook. And I like to base out of this play P snag. That's kind of like going to be my favorite play, if you will. And that's going to be kind of my base play. We're going to be breaking that down. As far as the audibles that I would recommend setting for this, I feel like you have to have this play here, Y Sail. I feel like this is like a staple. You kind of need this play. I also feel like you need to have the flood H post with that nice short post and short corner. Really valuable plays to have, in my opinion. And then from there, it's honestly kind of preference, whatever you want to do. I really like to have motion angle wheel with that short corner to the slot receiver. So we have a lot of really nice routes. If you want to have a run in here, you can have a run in here. The jet pass is kind of decent. Escape is kind of a cool play. Red zone scissors, it's okay play. Personally, I like to have Y stick in here. I think having that speed out is kind of a fun little route to have access to. You also have a pretty good bunch X nasty, which is kind of cool. Unfortunately, I don't think we have spacing switch, which is one of my favorite plays out of here. But you actually do have a really cool RPO, so we're going to put this in the audibles because you can use that out route and kind of stem him certain directions. You do have, do we not have the flat route? I don't think we have any good play with the flat. We do have a good whip route out of double out, so I'm going to put that in the audibles. Motion smash sluggo is kind of a fun play. Drive by corner is not really that good. Motion speed dig under is kind of cool because you have that backside speed in route, but really not a great play. Motion slot middle is not really a great play. Again, I will say they're bunch nasty. Oh, you have empty spacing switch. That's kind of terrible, to be honest. So I guess you go smash return here in this last spot. It's kind of just a good standard play to have. They actually have a really cool trips tied in as well. I like to have the play PA crossers. This I think is a must-have audible. It's a really nice route bunch of good routes on the plays. PA slot corner, another good play. Verticals is a really good play. And then in this last spot, you could, if you want to pass the ball a little bit more, you go curl flat or flood. Either one of these are really good. If you want to run the ball a little bit more, you have some cool plays in here. You have speed under. You have just your basic inside zone read option type stuff. I'm going to probably suggest that if you want most bang for your buck, go read option. But if you don't have the most fun, probably go speed option. And then tight flex. Again, you just have so many good formations in here. Tight flex has been good in Madden for years. Wide receiver cross is like a really valuable play. I don't think you really need to have a run play out of this. So what I like to do is have halfback option in here And then if you want to have PA post shot, I think it has to be in your audibles. And then if you want to have PA read to get that skinny post, you could do that. Or you could put the mesh play with the deep fade route. And then you also have tight open in here. Kind of a standard tight open. You need to have mesh spot. It's just a really good route combination, good quick hike play. But you also have a lot of really good like short routes, short corners, pivot routes, things of that nature. One of my favorite pivot routes is actually bench return. I like that verticals HB burst. You can pretty much create everything else around that. So if you don't want to put any of the other plays in, you don't have to. I personally really like Diggsy spot because it's a very quick hikeable play, or bench dig pivot. Either one of these plays are really good because they're very quick hikeable, but we're actually going to use drive stutter flat just because you get that short corner, which is kind of a unique route. In this formation, you also have the David T trips, the Y-off trips nasty that David T kind of made popular this year. RPO read flat, inside zone, dagger whip, PA double post. I don't feel like this is super like debated. I think this is just in general the best way to run this formation. And then after that, that's kind of it. These other formations are all okay. They actually have kind of a fun little bunch quads with some motion plays, but I don't really ever go to any of that stuff. You got 5 wide, kind of an old school 5 wide receiver trio with short post, short corners. It's kind of a fun little play to have. So, I mean, if you wanted to set audibles for this, I would have mesh in here. I'd have jet sweep in here. And then after that, it's honestly up to you. Probably have Y shallow cross in here. And then maybe like a 4 verts type of play. And if you wanted to have bunch quads, I really like the these motion plays. So motion spot, I like the motion swing, I like the motion verticals, and then after that, you could either do like a QB draw, you could do inside post, you could do spot. There's kind of a lot of variation there with that last play. But anyways, in general, this is kind of what I have. Doubles is a good formation to have like a run play, a couple run plays, and we don't have a lot of run plays in this that I've really kind of touched on here. So here you could go jet touch pass. You could go fake jet pass power. You could go, if you wanted to do a, PA zone read play, really nice play. And then from there, if you want to attack the seams, or you could just have a basic read option. So anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this offense and why I like these plays that I do. So what's cool about this is you do have kind of some unique spacing within this formation. As a general principle, what I like to do is I like to run with my tight end to the short side of the field. I don't really like to run this offense with my tight end to the other side, and the main reason why is just because the spacing is not really ideal. But I will say the spacing in this is actually amazing. So, and I think that's what makes this offense actually really good. So the first setup is the most basic and most powerful setup of the formation, and that is to corner out the tight end, streak the outside receiver, drag the slot, and then flat the table, table the back. You don't have to table the back, but you can table the back. Again, one of the things you could easily do is actually kind of motion this guy out into a trips type of look if you wanted to do something like that. Or you could just leave him on a table. Essentially, this is just a high-low read to the right side, and what we're really looking for is this tight end corner is going to get into a nice area of the field. It's pretty hard to switch stick that, and a lot of people pretty much unanimously in this game are going to be running cover 4 shade down. So if they're running cover 4 shade down, that tight end corner is going to be open. And then this backside post is really the money route. It's the route that it's the reason why you call this formation. It's really the reason why you call this play, is because this backside post is unbelievably effective. It's a very good route. Very, very good route. And I actually love how this route can be thrown early. It can be thrown late. It can be thrown all the way across the field as well. As you see there, a little cover 4 bomb type of deal. So this thing is just a really good route, right? It's just one of those routes that's hard to guard. If they're, most people are going to give this up in that area of the field right there. If you were to put the running back on like a little flat route, or even like a little pivot route here and run the play like this, then what'll happen is it'll pull this flat zone, and you can actually throw this short post a little faster over the middle. You can also throw it a little faster over there. Another thing that I like to do with the short post is stem it up one time, And when you sim it up one time, take a look at where he kind of gets to. You see he kind of can be thrown. That's not a really good example. Let me try to show that a little better. So you have to understand also, like in general in this game, what a lot of people are going to do is they're going to be blitzing. So this guy oftentimes is going to kind of be guarding the drag. Like he's responsible for guarding this drag route here. So if he goes to the drag route, right, you can throw this in this area of the field as well, which is one of the other windows that I think is really helpful. So that's kind of my main setup. This one will also do a really good job of attacking man coverage. I think this formation really hurts man because you can't really get a good press on players. You have a tight end that's unbumpable. He's going to get separation consistently against man coverage. And then you have my personal favorite route in the game, and it's been my favorite route in Madden for a long time, and that is the short post. As you see, I mean, this is a route, and of course we're going to throw a pick on it. This is a route that just consistently beats man year in and year out, 99.9% of the time. They're going to have to do a lot of stuff to defend this, but you see how we can kind of throw this on the cut right in that little area of the field. And then the other area that we can throw this short post in is all the way across the formation, and you'll kind of see this once he clears that yellow. You see how I can kind of throw it all the way across the formation, almost like a crossing route. So I really like this route because there's multiple ways, there's multiple points in which this route is going to be open. Now, another thing you're hopefully noticing here that I actually don't think is super ideal is if they're in a cover 4 defense, it's kind of good and bad. There's a little window to throw this post, and I'll show it to you here. You can kind of throw it like right here, and this can actually kind of get into like a weird spot against a cover 4 defense. To me, I don't know if it's necessarily good or bad. It just is. But this tight end corner is going to pull this outside quarter. So if you stem this post up once or twice, it's going to run a little deeper, and you'll just see how he can kind of just break cover 4 just like that. And if you hit it in the right little pocket, you got a chance for a big play, a chance for one play. So you have that going for you. We didn't show this play yet against cover 3. So if you do get a cover 3 coverage shell, again, this post, just take a look at that. As you see there, the tight end is wide open. And then as you see, this post gets open all the way across the formation really easily. Now, I think the best defense for this specific setup is going to be a cover 2 coverage. You're going to see here that really the cover 2 is going to do a pretty good job on everything except for the short post coming across the field, because that short post can get over the top of that cloud flat. So cover 2 is really the coverage that you need to be prepared to be able to attack, because cover 2 is the coverage that is going to be a little bit challenging for PA snag. So the way that I like to attack cover 2 is we're going to streak this. We're going to wheel the running back. We're going to motion him outside. We're going to streak the slot receiver like this, and then we're going to have a combination that looks like this. So essentially what we have here is we have 2 clear out streaks, and then this running back wheel is going to do a really good job of kind of breaking that cover 2 on that wide side. You can hit that over on that deep left sideline, as you saw I just did. The other thing that I like to do against a true like cover 2 style defense is just double drags. And the reason I like double drags is because one of these drags almost always are going to get open against cover 2 on the sideline. It's basically whichever drag they don't use her, or whichever drag they don't have a 3 rag for. So typically, this tight end, as you see, just gets across, and oftentimes you're going to be able to manipulate cover 2 that way as well. Another way that I like to manipulate cover 2 is we're going to basically run the same-ish setup, but we're now going to use a corner route like this to the outside. So what this setup is going to do is if they're in soft squats on the outside, that soft squat's going to go to the running back, and then you have that nice deep corner that can clear a cloud on that right-hand side. This is even better if you are on this hash, and I know in general we want to run this with the tight end to the right, with the tight end to the short side, but there are some setups that I think are valuable when you have the tight end over here, and you're going to see that with this cover 2 setup. As you see, we're just able to manipulate that cover 2 and make it pretty difficult for them. They're going to have to switch stick that. They're going to have to, one of the other real beauties of this like formation from an alignment perspective is they oftentimes are going to give up this tight end streak when they try to switch stick to go guard this outside receiver because they're going to switch stick to the half and kind of move him a step. And you'll see that tight end just seaming right up the middle of the field over the top for a touchdown. Another really effective way to be able to manipulate a cover two coverage is utilizing the play Y sail and specifically the short side setup. Now, one of the things I hope you kind of gravitate to and understand about this offense is you have a couple of really powerful plays. You have PA snag, which you can run 50 to 60% of the game. You also have this play Y sail, which you could pretty much run this like 50 to 60% of the time. So this setup that I like is this right here. And basically what we're looking for is against cover two, that safety is going to kind of turn his hips inside. And then there is this window to hit this throw to CD. Now, this throw takes a little bit of practice and you might not get it right every single time. So this is like a little bit of a risky throw, but it can just absolutely cook the cover two coverage. You really got to get it out there to the right side. So I almost think like even just like high pointing it, a lot of people will play cover two with 2 quarters. I did want to show that real quick. There's a lot of people in this game because of how good seam streaks are. They'll play cover two with these 2 quarter zones. If that happens, this is going to be even more open. As you see right there, I'm able to hit this window over the top for a big play. The other thing, though, is oftentimes if they do leave the deep half, the deep half can get manipulated with this play, specifically in you have to run this to the right hash mark. I'm going to freeform it hard to the right side, and you see that I'm still, I guess, able to play it, but I'm just telling you from experience, and I know we're not getting a great clip of it here, this is a throw that you can actually make pretty consistently in game against a cover two coverage, right? I'm just kind of shooting straight. You see there, that might be a little better freeform. It just can't quite get enough bend on the ball. I did change my settings on that, and I might have to go back to the old way I was passing. But in general, this is something that you want to have. This glitchy fade route is just a key route in this game. You can high point it and try to hit it over the top too. But in general, I'll throw it one more time, and if it doesn't work, it just doesn't work. But I do love this play against it. Let's see if we can just like kind of lob it to the right and try to get a little bit more arc underneath of it. That was actually close. Okay, well, we'll just leave it like that. It's not a big deal. There's a lot of other ways to beat cover two. One of the things that you have here, again, I want to quickly point out, is you have this Y sail with just leaving the tight end corner. And because that tight end corner is a deeper corner, it's going to run into kind of a nice area of the field. So you have that in the play Y sail. Another play setup that I like out of PA snag that we didn't quite get into yet that I do think is also good is this one right here. It's essentially a trail or Texas concept. Now you could do a couple things on that left side. You could do a seam streak if you wanted to do a seam streak, or the running back on a Texas route, or you could just do a basic flat, or you could do a wheel like I am right here. The reason I like the wheel is because it's going to have it's going to do a really good job of kind of clearing out space for us to be able to throw this Texas route and this drag. So you see here that Texas is really the main route that we want to hit, and that Texas is going to be really, really effective. Now, you're also noticing that there are some, we have this kind of like wonky alignment on the left side. This is actually a really good alignment for throwing the outside out. So this is also a very advantageous alignment for throwing an out route to the left-hand side off of a seam streak from this left side. So what you can do with this play is you can get into some of your other setups. One of my favorites is flood H post. And the way we're going to use this is we have a short post now from the slot receiver. And one of the ways that I like to use it is we're going to drag the tight end. We're going to streak this outside guy. So if you just think about kind of what's happening here, and then we're going to speed out and stem up one time this out route. So this is going to crucify cover 4 drop. Cover 4 drop is going to struggle a lot against this. And the reason why is because we have a high-low read on both sides. So our first read is really going to be this speed out. You're going to throw a lot of these. And this is a really nice alignment to be able to throw a speed out on. With this receiver backed off, it really does help the capability of this speed out. And then on this right side, if you want to put the running back on the table, go for it. Normally I just block him. You could also trail route him if you want to do that. Kind of some different variations. But in general, what I like is, again, let's say we get in that cover two situation. And what oftentimes is going to happen is, number one, your tight end drag is going to get underneath of the cloud. And so you can throw that tight end drag. And that is one of my favorite routes in the game, is just simply taking advantage of the basics like that. Another thing that we can do to take advantage off of this left sideline is we can utilize a zig, a speed out, and then really whatever we want to do on the back end of this. So one of my favorite things to do is I'll do a tight end post, and then I'll do like a streak, like something like that. But basically what you're going to see here is this little whip route has got a lot of room to be able to get open on the left side, as you can see. So you have a lot of space to be able to attack on the left side with the play flood H post. Another setup that I like to have access to in this flood H post world is I do like to, on this hash mark, utilize this short corner. So if I ever want to utilize this short corner like this, I want to be on this left hash again. And the main idea with this to me is I really like something like this. It doesn't have to be exactly this, but just a high-low read to the right side, really looking for this short corner. And as you see, cover 4, cover 3 is really going to struggle against that. So this offense is really, really good against cover 3 and cover 4 coverages. It's also really good against man because you have so many short corners, short post routes, types of routes, right? So its primary weakness, in my opinion, is a cover 2 coverage, which is why you need to be equipped to be able to handle that. So another setup that I like at a flood H post, kind of similar to PA snag, is I really like, something like this. And the reason why is because this, and you can actually motion this running back out and get a lot of space on the speed out if you want to do that. But what I really like is that this outside cloud flat soft squat is really going to struggle with this corner route that we're hot routing on the right. So we can have that to be able to take advantage of different things that they're going to do. Another route combo that I really like as well for this is Y sail, and really basically just doing the same thing. The primary difference just being we have the route coming from the corner route as opposed to coming from the fade route. And you can stem the corner route down one time. By stemming it down one time, it just runs a little better in my opinion. And as you see, this is just a cover 2 killer. It's going to be difficult for them to consistently run cover 2. This time I'm going to actually cloud flat, and I'll show you kind of what that looks like. So again, I stem this guy down one time. You can leave this fade or you can put him on a streak. But what you're going to see here is there's just a lot of space for him to be able to attack, right? So that's another thing that you have going for you. Again, another thing that I think is important against this cover 2 coverage, and this is why, you can you could go to something like this. The reason I like this is I'll actually motion the running back out and I'll throw him on a drag route. And the reason I like this drag is this is going to basically be a check down. What I'm really looking for on a cover 2 coverage is this tight end directly up the seam. As you see, he can just crush cover 2. And so you think about it, they can't really run cover 2 on both sides. If they run cover 2 on both sides, there's a lot of vulnerabilities. So what a lot of times is going to happen is they're going to run, cover 2 basically like this, right? And this is where I really like different combinations. Like one of the ones I really like, as I just showed you guys, is really just this. I think an underrated combination would be something like this. And the reason why is because the whip will win, and then the wheel, of course I say that and I get bagged by peppers. The wheel is going to do a really good job also. So let me just show you that. So sometimes what I'll do is a setup like this if I'm getting a lot of cover 2. And the reason why is because this running back wheel, a lot of people just kind of fall asleep against it. And it's a throw that you can make. I don't know why. Maybe more of a short side throw, but it can be like something like this even. Like this is kind of cool. But basically what happens a lot of times against cover 2 coverages is you can kind of throw this wheel into kind of an interesting area. He'll also serve as a clear out, as you see right there. Like he can totally serve as a clear out. Let me run this on the short side because I think it'll be a little better against cover 2 to the short side. But again, this is PA snag, just streak, drag, and then combination like this. And what you're really looking for is you got a seam streak on the right side, but really the route that we want to hit is that Like, if I can eventually hit it, that'd be just fantastic. Apparently, my corners are just absolutely roided out of their mind. Let's see if we can actually throw this for you. But again, the basic idea just being that the deep half oftentimes is going to go to the middle of the field, and then just late, you see how this can kind of just hit that little sweet spot against cover two. So that is a route that I like to have, as well. Just kind of, and you could do it a couple different ways. You do have this angle wheel play as well that has a tight end wheel. In terms of how I would run this play, you have a short corner here on the left side, which I think is pretty decent. I'm trying to think exactly how you would actually run this. What I would probably do is just a basic streak. You know what I mean? Like this, or like a curl, and then just stem them up, basically turn them into a streak, so that we get a clear out in case they are in that cover three, which is very popular. A lot of people are going to run cover three to the left side and cover two to the right side. And then on this right-hand side here, kind of do one of two things. I personally, probably just do this. The problem is you got to be careful because the tight end route can be matched. But what I really like is the short corner, because a lot of times they're looking for a speed out. When they don't see a speed out, they don't switch stick. You have a short corner like that, that's going to make it a little bit more challenging for them, and they're going to have to kind of be in a better position. And then the other thing that I like about this play is if we were to run like something like this, now your tight end wheel has got a really good chance at just kind of being a big hitter for you against cover two. And again, it's kind of just one of those things. Like, I'll just show you here. So like if it's motion, if it's a soft squat, a lot of times that soft squat can match him. But as you see there, he kind of matches him late. Like, I'm not mad at that right there, and that actually handled cover two pretty decently. So again, I'm just looking for basic ways to beat cover two on the right side, because I do think that that's ultimately, if you play somebody good, they're probably going to be in some type of defense that's going to essentially be cover two to the right. This is also why I think Y sail is a really, really important play to have, because it does have potential to just bomb cover two, right? And then it also is really good against cover three and cover four, because you can just seam them up, which I think is actually, obviously really, really good in this game. Another setup that I like, I kind of do this one out of a couple different things. You could do it out of flood edge post, you could do it out of PA snag, you could do it out of a couple different things, but basically the idea here is just the Texas concept, and I like to have a speed out on that left side, and so we can attack that. A lot of times that just gets so open against cover three or cover four, and they kind of have to hard flat. One thing I'll do is situationally is I'll motion my running back out, and you can kind of do different things with this. So one of the things that I like to do is if I think they are in cover two, I'll do something like this, okay? And if they are in cover two, this is a good way to manipulate it. You don't really have to do anything on the right. It's kind of whatever. Like, it could be as simple as this right here. But what's really good is this corner, you'll see, is just going to kind of get kind of in that spot, right? It's going to get in that spot on the left. And you can get to that corner a couple different ways. Like, you could streak this guy, corner at the running back, stem him down one, and do it like this. And like I said, I just want plays that I think are decent against cover two, because I do feel like ultimately in this game, you're going to get cover two, and you got to be able to handle cover two. Like, I feel like a lot of this game is about picking and choosing when they're going to cover to you and having good plays for that, which does kind of lead me to some of the other plays in this formation that I did want to just spend a little bit of time on. It's not, you have S post, you have some cool plays like that, but it's really, to me, it kind of comes down to this motion dagger Y in, motion dig under, or motion HB out. These three plays here, a lot of value packed into them. If you want to run the zig, the problem with the motion play is he doesn't really snap very well. You're going to see that he's going to actually like set his feet, and then he's going to snap. And at that point, I don't really know like what the value is in having the play necessarily. But what I think is very valuable is the fact that you have these fade routes on the outside. So we're really primarily calling this play because of this route to the triangle receiver. Now, what I would probably do is run this on the left hash. So it is more of a short side play. But in general, we have that short corner on the right. We're going to streak the tight end, table the running back, and then I'd probably come back this outside guy. But in general, what can happen is if they do go cover two here, this fade is just kind of one of those routes that can just kind of be like pass led really well. And so you could potentially hit that. Not a great, like it's okay. Let me see if I can get this to actually, I don't think I was in cover two that time. Let me go to cover two. So again, and like I said, you can, if you were to streak this, like most of this running back, I'm putting him on a streak, probably have a little bit more success. I'll just flat him here. But I want you to take a look at this fade, and you can kind of see it pulls the deep half enough. And I got to throw this a little better. But if they truly go like straight cover two on both sides, this is a pretty decent setup. And again, you could do whatever you want with running back. Like just Texas route him, block him, don't care. But the real beauty route, I think, is this tight end streak. And I would love for Baker to give me a little better of a throw so that I can actually show you that this kills cover two. Because what happens is the corner on the right is going to pull the half, and then this kind of glitchy fade right here also pulls the half. You can even fade this guy, drag this guy. But as you see right here, see how you can just like crucify a cover two? So, I feel like cover two is good. But there's some weaknesses to it, and it really struggles with stuff like this. Now, let's say that they're in a cover three coverage. Again, you have kind of this glitchy seam route. You could pair this with a speed out if you wanted to and get kind of like this. But what happens a lot of times is that third, you see how that middle third kind of bit? You probably need to come back on that side, but I'm just trying to show you like just different bomb formulas that you could potentially have. So if they are in a cover three, which again, what happens a lot, they run cover three on that left side and they run cover two on the right. You run a comeback here. I bet you could put this cover three in enough conflict that you're going to hit this fade. It is a little bit of it's going to be an interesting throw. Let's see if we can hit it. It's almost like an inside pass lead to a degree. Yeah, kind of got there. Wasn't ideal. That third cover three is hard to bomb anymore in this game. Let's try it on this hash. I bet you this is probably the answer to our problems. But again, this is something for those guys that want to just kind of just sit in the same defenses. You have a pretty decent play here. And you'll see how you can kind of, it looks like you can kind of split it. It's super close. Just can't get that third to be pulled very well anymore because of the patch. But yeah, at the end of the day, speed outs galore, like speed outs wide open. I'm going to try a comeback, and then if that doesn't work, it just, it is what it is. But see how he kind of bites and then he kind of recovers? There you see it. Like he bit just enough for me to be able to hit it over the top. And that's cover three. So you have a cover three beater, and really it doesn't even look like a cover three beater if you think about it. And then let's see if this bombs cover four. I don't think it will, but it might. Actually, it does. I forgot about this. This totally bombs cover four. So now you have a cover four and cover three bomb on the left. Pretty nice little route. Most people aren't going to be expecting this route, to be honest with you. And you could do something like this. You could even just, let's see if the speed out bombs cover four. Even if it was like a 15-yard speed out, like I'd be cool on this. And then we just flat streak combo on the right side. Force them to have a yellow zone, have the high-low on the left side. And this is cook in cover four. Yes, sir. And these are safeties backed off, let alone what would happen if the safeties were up in the box, right? So this is pretty good. And the only thing it's not great against is cover two, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And again, you have some really cool ways that you can kind of get to it. Let's see if we can get it over cover three here. Yeah, I think the key is just getting that 15-yard stem. I don't know how Parsons played that, but I'll show it to you one more time. So what's crazy is what a lot of people do when they see a speed out. One of the best ways to defend a speed out is either to put a cloud or switch stick it. And this is going to kind of make it difficult to do either one, because if they switch stick the speed out, or if they just let it play it, then you're going to have a touchdown, right? And you're probably going to get a lot of one plays off this. I'm going to I'm going to have to really check into this, but this is a pretty good little route combo for sure. And then, you have kind of some other good reads around it. You have a short corner. I really like short corners. I really like short posts, and then now your flood H post play kind of looks fairly the same. So now they're starting to run cover 4. We didn't even get into this, but this short post is just going to get into this kind of area of the field that's pretty nice. So let me try to show that. So just flood post like this, basically. And what you're going to see is this circle is going to clear out. Look at Kendricks just go crazy on a 2-man rush. That's how crazy sheds are in this game, in practice mode. But in general, I just want to show you this idea. But basically, the route you're looking for is triangle, and you're going to throw him right over here. Great freeform, Baker. Glad I switched to placement and not placement accuracy. I think I'm going to have to go back to placement accuracy because placement is kind of But you just see, like, once he clears the yellow, like, that's a pretty consistent throw. And, if it's truly, like, if you're getting cover 4 a lot and that cover 4 is just playing it really, really well over there, I'll show you some other stuff we could do. But you could also just, it's going to work. You just got to kind of throw it like right here, right? So, and cover 3 is a little easier to manipulate. So that is this offense, man. There's a lot to it. There's a lot more to even touch on here. This little like glitchy, I don't even know how to like explain the route. Like this crosser is kind of a crazy route. It runs like super smooth. It's not really something that I would use a ton, but it's just another way to manipulate cover 3. If you ever get a lot of cover 3, again, a lot of people like to run cover 3 to this, like this right here. This is a very popular shell. So what we can do to take advantage of this shell is we have this motion angle wheel play, just streak the running back, and then you pretty much snap the ball. You can quick hike this. What'll happen is once he crosses that safety, a lot of times he gets open. Of course, that time he doesn't because Madden loves to make my life difficult. But that's something to look for. It's just that crosser against cover 3, and might not be able to actually hit it, but I do like this play. Let's drag this guy. This corner route needs to pull a little bit better than he did, but there is like that little spot right there that can be thrown. I guess you can't really throw it, which again, if you can't throw that, this is the interesting thing. If you can't throw that read, that's fine. We can just step up in the pocket and throw our short corner because our short corner is wide open, right? So we have plenty of options here. Another little underrated way to manipulate coverage in this game is if it's like a cover 4, cover 3. Now we can do some wide side. So we're going to streak the tight end, motion the running back out, speed out like this. And now you kind of have the same idea here to the right side. So what we're really looking for is this fade. And the cover 4 did actually a pretty good job there, but I bet you the cover 3 won't. So anyway, just some different ways to manipulate coverage out of this playbook. Obviously, that is always valuable in my opinion, and kind of stays in with like the rest of the stuff we're doing out of this as well. So this should be just a free, yeah. See how free this is against cover 3? So I mean, it's one of those things where you pretty much have to deep half, and then when they do deep half, that's where you're really susceptible, in my opinion. Like if you're just running like a basic cover 2 against this formation, ultimately I feel like, just this basic setup right here, this corner route, like just crucifies that coverage shell. So having some, just be aware, but ultimately, these plays are really good. And the thing that I would just say, and again, just a little bit of, I guess, friendly advice. One of the things that you need to know is ultimately it's going to come down to when they call cover 2, right? Because they're going to call cover 2. It's really just about understanding like when they call it and how to attack it based off the hash mark you're on and which side they're calling it on. Because a lot of times they're going to call it on the running back side, but they might not call it on the other side. So that's something, just minor that you might need to just kind of like, again, just keep in your mind here. One little crazy thing with this is I bet you I can get this to bomb cover 2 because what'll happen a lot of times is if you put the tight end on a post, a lot of times they will basically go to this tight end post, the deep half will, if you wait long enough. And you see I'm kind of getting it. I just can't quite get the throw, but I'm kind of getting that idea. So this is actually from U-Trips. I learned this from running U-Trips a little bit. But you could do something like this. Little backside drag. I stem the post up one, and then against cover two, the deep half's going to go to the tight end because it's a vertical enough attacking post. So you see there, he'll take one step to the inside, and there is a little window where you can hit this fade on the outside. So little sauce for you. It's a tight throw, but it is actually really good. Why stick? What I just like about this play is you get a speed out to this inside receiver. I just think this is a cool route to have. And most people just don't expect a speed out to that guy. So you have that. And then I'm trying to think if there's any other like known really good plays. Let me try to just streak this tight end up the seam and just see if I can get the safety to pull in. If I could get the safety to pull in, this play just became like one of the best plays in the game. Let's just see. I don't think he does pull in. So I feel like it's going to be a really hard throw. And it's just... it's kind of there. It's kind of not there. But I do like the setup regardless of that because you have a high low to the right side that's really good. The tight end technically does bomb cover two, right? So it's just you're kind of anticipating, like something like this. Which if they do something like this, the cool part about the setup is your corner route on the right side is going to be a really nice read to be able to make. So bottom line is you just have a lot of really cool routes in this offense that can just do a lot of different things like what we're trying to show you here today. And I just think that the one weakness of the formation is how are you going to beat cover two? Specifically, how are you going to beat cover two to the left? I feel like that's ultimately like the biggest thing because you can't really that's such a tight throw. And I think really ultimately the best way to hit this cover two is like a backside post of some type that's probably going to go about at least up once. And against this you're basically banking on the deep half kind of reacting to that post coming backside. And then when he takes a step there, you're looking to hit that. But as you see, it's kind of a bang throw. It's just hard. It's a hard throw to make. I can't motion. If I could motion this guy in here, that'd probably be a way to do it. Let's see if we can... let's just see if we can hit this against cover two with a motion out. I don't know that this even hits it because the running back's kind of in a weird space. It kind of hits it. It does kind of look like it'll hit it. You got to make a better throw than that. But anyways, as you can see, one of the challenges is going to be how do you attack on this left side? Do you run something as simple as this? Like this can probably this is pretty good. But as you see to the short side, it's you know what I mean? So you just have to have some kind of plan for how you're going to attack that left side of the field. But I do think that, ultimately this is a really, really good formation. And it can do a lot of different things that, we just really haven't necessarily seen all year. So, and I just love the tight end streak. I think the tight end streak out of this is really good. Didn't even get too far into Y sail. But if you streak the tight end out of Y sail, this is basically like bunch strong nasty. Or bunch strong offset where you can just pass lead that in through zones, and it's oftentimes just open because a lot of people, what they like to do is they'll blitz this guy, they'll bring this guy over here, and they'll kind of blitz like that, and ultimately what it means is their user is going to kind of be stuck over here. So what we can do relatively easily, one of the easiest access throws in the world, is just throw this right here, boom. Right, and then if we really want to attack cover two on the right side, we run the go back to PA snag, which I don't have in the audibles, unfortunately, but we can do it out of flood post basically, and essentially you're running, the stem. I don't stem it all the way down. I stem it to 5. I stem it down one time, but against cover two sink or cover two cloud, because I'm on the left hash, this is going to be money. So. Anyways, I've been yakking it a lot. This is kind of a fun formation. I do think this is going to be a formation that's going to be there at the end of the year. You're going to see top level players run this in Madden Bowl and really for the rest of the year. So just keep that in mind. This is a top offense, and we really haven't even gotten into all the other things you could do. I mean, you can go to Bunch Nasty, and run some kind of combination like this if you wanted to. 100% could totally do that. You could go to Y off trips and run the RPO stuff. You could, let's say you're over in this hash mark, this would be a good position to audible over to trips tight end and run, a really good cover 3, cover 4 beater out of trips tight end, out of PA cross. And this trips tight end is really good because it has a lot of plays. Look at Deron. Dude, Deron Bland is him out here. I feel like he just never gets burnt. But you have a lot of really good plays for your trips. You have PA slot corner, one of the most slept on plays in the game because you have a short post. And that's what makes this play, I think, really good. Got to kind of figure out what you want to do with this outside guy, but in general, this short post is money. So you want to kind of build around that and use that to your advantage. In my opinion, I do think you also have like one of the more slept on routes in this formation is something as simple as you can do it out of Y sail, but basically just literally you're gonna streak this outside guy, cross or drag, and essentially just high-low it like this. This is not a bad way, to do things at all, using that tight end deep cross to kind of get the left side of the field. That's another thing you could do. And then you have, like I said, you have trips, you have tight flex, you have tight open, and you have Y off trips nasty with some pretty good plays in all of those formations. So if I wanted to do this, I think this is a pretty decent combination here, as you can see. So anyways, there's just a lot to this playbook, a lot of depth to it, and a lot of versatility within it. Underrated is if you go to the left a couple times, you are going to be in pistol trips, which, as I said, I think is a pretty underrated formation because you can run stretch, counter, all those plays. And then you also can audible into pistol bunch tight end and use a really nice halfback counter run. So you should have a lot of options. Really in-depth playbook. There's a lot to talk about, but it really does start with this formation. This is the main formation in the offense. If you guys want to learn the rest of the ebook, make sure that you join our school community. The school community is going to be linked in the description below. $10 gets you access to all of our offensive and defensive ebooks for Madden and for college football.